Start with number one in our pick six, and this is going into the notebook. And actually, I do want to kind of start there maybe.
Yeah.
Well, let's just go into the notebook right away, because we'll look at Chiefs O versus the Vic Fangio and the Eagles defense here.
Yeah.
We all saw the Super Bowl, and you watch it, but you do learn some more things when you deep dive into the film. I don't know that we need to tell the regular homies that, but if you're a new homie, it's just like there are more insights you can get.
TV can lie.
When
TV
you're in
can't
the
tell you
barn.
the whole picture,
Yes.
right? That's what you want to see. Let alone sometimes you play a team that really exposes or glorifies your weaknesses even more, to where maybe you kind of gave them a free pass because they're winning, they know what they're doing, they know how to use their guys, right? But then they find this team where it's like, hey, we know how to take away a few of your things, and now the onus or the pressure is back on the guys, and you go, oh gosh, well the guys are less than. I think the banner statement to start off with is that it was the most underwhelming, boring Super Bowl film to ever watch in my life since I've been in part of this business.
Right. Good night, everyone.
Right?
All right, there you go. There's our deep dive.
There was not a lot of schematical, right, like what do I want to say, ingenuity or things where you looked at and were like, wow, like I've never seen them do this. This
for both teams?
From especially the Eagles.
The Eagles
but
kept it
even
simple.
the Chiefs, and the fact that they could never get going anything on the offense. I don't think you ever got to see them unlock their vault or what their plan of attack was, because they never even got to stay on the field, the Chiefs, really. And then when they did get on the field, the game was over and the emotions were over, and the Eagles were kind of just like, hey, we're just trying to not let you come back real quick here, and that's all there is to it. But yes, we've talked about the Eagles, and the fact that the Eagles are so comfortable in the matchup, they got to play really probably the most boring schematical game they played all year, because they were just like, hey, let's just start out playing simple and doing what we do. And I think we can beat them that way. And if we'll go and break the glass for plan B if need be. But, of course, they didn't need to, and they never had to really change anything about their approach.
So let's show you the success or lack thereof that Vic Fangio had against Patrick Mahomes before this one, the first 8 games versus this previous Super Bowl. And we mentioned it on the podcast on Monday. The Eagles did not blitz once across 48 dropbacks, just the 4th time we've seen that in any game.
That's crazy.
In the next-gen
That's
stats
another
era.
one that I don't think has been accentuated enough, okay? I don't know where I'm coming out with these big words today. I don't know why.
We love it.
All right? But either way, I don't think it is. No blitz 2024 football? The 4th time ever? Like, that doesn't happen. That's also, I think, just speaks again. And I know we said this on Monday, too, how comfortable the Eagles were with the talent and what the Chiefs do, and going, nothing you guys do scares us, so we can play the same 2 defenses all game long.
So they had to take something away, and they did that with their front 4 and being able to get pressure with just those guys and Jalen Carter, and it went too deep, and you mentioned all the names on Monday.
Right.
But let's go, if we can, guys, into the notebook for Chris Simms, because he wrote quite legibly. I was able to read a majority of the notebook.
I wasn't rushing. It was
time.
only one game, so I could take my time. I think that's the biggest thing there.
So here it is. So take me inside, and I don't know if this is one of the big things you noticed from watching film that you may not have seen so much during the TV watch.
We said it on Monday a little bit when you told me like some of the stats of the coverages, right? And of course, we I could glean a little from TV, but when you said there was like 60% quarters and no blitzes, what was the thing I told you? I said, well, when you tell me it was that coverage all game, that makes me think they were really worried about the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Well, this is one where all of that connecting dots, turning on the film, yes, it matched up perfectly. You could see the whole game plan to stop the middle of the field passing game. Chiefs only have one guy that scares you, and they don't throw the ball outside. Great by the Eagles, right? They have one guy. Xavier Worthy's really the only guy that has put any fear into anybody, and he's not towards the stratosphere of, we have to double him yet. Nobody's doing that in football. You heard me say before the show started, I've given the Chiefs a free pass because they win and because how great they are. They don't use the whole field. They are a team that could throw the ball down the field and outside the numbers more. Patrick Mahomes is one of the greatest arms ever. It's really hard to go through a game, really, and ever find a consistent attack of deep out routes, comebacks, and all that. So I think they're not helping out in that area. Then there's also the personnel aspect that does not help it out either, because they don't have a guy that's fast or has size, and those are the guys you usually want to throw outside to, right? Xavier Worthy is not the guy you always want to throw comebacks to, because one little bump or whatever else, he's kind of now off, the rhythm of his route. Let alone he's not the kind of guy that's like, oh, let me throw it on the sidelines and he'll box out a big DB and catch the ball, right? Like we see a T. Higgins or somebody else do. So it's not a part of their offense. And then you get into those guys that have a little more size that way, and then it becomes DeAndre Hopkins and Juju Smith-Schuster. And I know you saw this in my notes too. I mean, when they're on the field together, okay, right? And then because I'm watching the game, I'm watching the game plan, and I'm sitting there going, okay, well, why would they want to play this defense so much, right? In the middle of the field passing too. Okay, but yeah, with cover 4, like we said on Monday, it basically becomes man-to-man on the outside. And they were just like, we're totally fine. We don't care. Xavier Worthy can run, so we'll be ready to run when he's out there. But you saw in my notes, first off, with number 9 Juju and number 8 Hopkins on the field, there is not a slower duo wide receiver in the NFL. It's the slowest duo in the whole NFL. Not even close, right? So therefore, there's that. When they're on the field, forget whoever's on the outside there. You're not worried about any of them running a go route. You can't run a comeback, like a 20-yard comeback route with those guys, because no one's going to back up enough to go, oh, wait, he might run the go route, so then you can put on the brakes and run the out route or comeback, right? So that's another thing they got to remedy in the offseason and figure that out. But yes, from the get-go, they played this quarter's coverage because they were worried about the Chiefs we've seen Mahomes do the RPO slants over the middle, right? Or he kind of looks over the middle and they got either Kelsey short and then somebody goes behind him, or somebody else is short and Kelsey goes behind him. They usually find a defender to put in a bind where they go, well, you're high load. Which one do you want to choose? You're going to choose wrong, right? And with this coverage in quarters, you're not wrong, because now they can find numbers and enough people there to close down on those routes, and that was a problem for Kansas City throughout the day. The plays they like to go to in big situations were just not as easily had.
So multiple things that threw them off that you saw in your films, and one was that, they took away the things that they normally like to do, and so they pause a little bit longer or just completely go in a different direction. Also, once that rush started coming too, Patrick started that clock started going a little
rushing,
faster.
exactly
for him.
right.
We have some plays that we can show here,
right?
And these are second half plays when they really needed it. This was like last ditch effort. This is if it doesn't happen now, it's not happening.
And let me just say this, because I've seen people get on Patrick Mahomes a little bit, and like what I really want to say is, are you fucking crazy? Like, first off, he didn't play great. I get that. He didn't really have a chance to play great. I mean, this was total domination. It's not like I came away from this game going, oh, man, there was people open everywhere and he missed throws and all that. No, this was tough sledding. They were outmatched in a big way. And, okay, once he started to get under pressure, it snowballs like we talked about. And, yes, you need some help. And did he miss some throws? And could have Kelsey caught the ball? Sure. But, yes, he was under such pressure, too, that did he miss a play or two maybe because people were around him or his internal clock was off? Yeah, because everybody's would be. When you get the ball and it's set hut, and we used to like joke about this with Daniel Jones, right? Set hut, and it's literally like, oh my gosh, I need to duck and get ready. I can't even look down the field. It's hard to go the next play and just go, oh, well, I'll be fine on this play, so I'll just sit here all calm and cool and look down the field. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So everything speeds up. And it starts, you're leading me right where I want to go, like, they didn't have many opportunities to make the game close or gain momentum. And when they did have opportunities, something always got fucked up, right? The end of the first half, the Eagles finally blow a coverage. They mess up something. DeAndre Hopkins is wide open. Mahomes is running to his right. Now, Mahomes is going to go, well, I wish I would have thrown the ball a little bit better. But DeAndre Hopkins, with nobody in the screen, is going to catch the ball and run for at least another 25 to 30 yards, and they're going to at least be in field goal range before the half, let alone they're going to have enough time to maybe score a touchdown and maybe just change how the game was going. Again, the Eagles are going to win no matter what. It just might have made the third quarter a little more fun for us to watch and kept the game competitive, right? And you want to keep that pressure there because then maybe the Eagles mess something up and all of a sudden you're going, wait, we're getting killed? And we're back in it because, they pissed down their leg and messed something up all of a sudden, right? So they missed that opportunity, and there's their chance there. So now they get and they get that. You go, hey, they get some points before the half. We know they get the ball at the second half. Yeah. They can do the Belichick Patriot thing, and hey, 24-10, 24-14, whatever, and all of a sudden we got a game again. But Hopkins looks like he stubs his toe and trips as the ball's in the air. Let alone he gives Mahomes a horrible angle. He's running straight across. As the ball goes in the air, he starts to fade away. And so that didn't work, right? So Mahomes wasn't like perfect again, but there was always something wrong. The only play I'm going to totally put on Patrick Mahomes is the second interception. Right? You saw it in my notes. It's 3rd and 16. I've never seen him do anything like that. That makes no sense. I mean, where did I write it? I just want to make sure sure. 3rd and 16, so bad. One of the worst plays of his career. The down, the distance, the situation, the throw. He threw the ball. It didn't matter if Cooper DeJean didn't intercept it. I think Quinyon Mitchell's going to intercept it anyways. He threw it behind the guy, right? The decision, all horrible. Even if DeJean doesn't get it, I think 27 will get it too, right? You could see. If you watch, I mean, again, there's clues. If you watch the play, and you're seeing here on Next Gen Stats, if you're watching on YouTube, like when the ball goes in the air, Hopkins is starting to slide and slow down because he recognizes it's behind me. I'm going to have to go down to get it. It looks like even with him going down to get it, he's not going to be able to stop enough to stop himself with the ball. It looks like Quinyon Mitchell is going to get the interception even if DeJean doesn't. But the situation and where they were at the game and 10-0 and all of that and 3rd and 16, that is the one play I will put on Mahomes, and I still cannot believe after all these years of playing and the greatness we've seen him that he made that decision right there. That is the only play of the game that I will sit there and go, I can't believe Mahomes did that. That was horrible. And, of course, it was a big moment. You can't take that away. That's
so
for
he's
sure.
clearly all jacked up. They're down 24-0 at halftime.
Right.
First drive of the third quarter, you're like, okay, is there any chance whatsoever this is going to be a game and I'm going to actually have a good Super Bowl here?
Right.
Or at least a fun second half for a few minutes. 14-18, first drive of the second half, 1st and 10, so first play. What are we seeing here? We're going to get the screenshots of this play.
Yep. Well, here's the big thing here, and this accentuates a few points. One, we're going to see quarters coverage from Philadelphia. You're going to see how the middle of the field is not there. Okay? And here's one of the few instances of the football game, too, where if you want to blame Mahomes again a little bit, you can. But this is a hard one to blame him because he's been under duress immediately almost every time he's dropped back to pass to this point of the game.
And just so we can clarify, quarters, once again,
Quarters is like basically the two safeties in the middle. They're not going to go deep. They're going to be two safeties. They're going to kind of stay around 12, 10 yards, and they're going to look to come downhill. They're going to look for guys running in-breaking routes over the middle. That's basically what the rules are. And then, therefore, the guys on the outside become man-to-man. So you can find combinations to go, let me get Travis Kelce to sit in front of that safety and just keep him there, and then we can run a post over the top, right? Those are big in the West Coast offenses. We had alerts for that coverage in this, and this is going to be a play that shows that. So here's a play. Again, they're going to do everything we've already talked about. It's Kelce and I believe Juju, the two inside receivers to the top of the screen. On the very top is Hollywood Brown, but they're going to run a little over-under concept with Kelce and Juju. And the Eagles are like, we've been preparing this for 2 weeks, so we're all over this. So you're not going to get this open. Okay, so let's see the next screenshot, okay? If you get a chance here, Pete. So now you see, look, they're trying to high-low him. So at first, the guy attacked the low guy, and he wanted to go to Kelce behind it, but Bond did a great job of, I attacked it, and then I stopped and flew back to kind of where you thought Kelce was going to be. So it wasn't there. And yeah, he could have maybe thrown the 4-yard game, but you could see Cooper DeJean is coming down. If he throws that ball to Juju right there, it's going to be bam as soon as he catches the ball. Maybe the ball pops in the air. My point here is, again, we've talked about they had some opportunities to make it fun for us to watch a little bit. Here's one, again, where if you want to blame Mahomes a little bit, I'll blame him, right? Here's the quarters coverage we talk about. Look how both safeties are coming down. You can see that, right? And Blankenship and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, their bodies are leaning that way. They're attacking downhill. They know it's Kelce on the crossing route. Let's stop that, right? But within that, look at the top of the screen. It's Hollywood Brown against Darius Slay, and Darius Slay's playing outside leverage, right? So the post route is there. And here the pocket is good. This is probably about the second time the whole game the pocket's good. And I think if they had had a little rhythm and momentum and he had success, I think this is something Mahomes sees and throws it for a big play. But he's rattled, and he's had people around him the whole game. And he's kind of taken the approach of, let's just get some momentum. Let me get some completions. I've had people on me, so let me get the ball out. And therefore, I don't know if we have one more screenshot to go along with this, but now he doesn't know what to do. And you could see there's a chance here for him to throw this ball, and even more so if we saw it down the field. But Mahomes stepped up in the pocket, and instead of just staying where he was and just trusting his O-line, he kind of panicked and ran up too far, and he ran into trouble, and he got sacked. And that sack was on him, certainly. But that was one big moment where you looked at and go, oh, they could have made a play there and could have maybe made things interesting.
So then the very next play. Let's show the very next play again here, because it's a similar philosophy for the Eagles and Vic Fangio again.
It's just always something. It was always something. Whether it was Mahomes missed the throw, Kelsey dropped the pass. Oh, everybody's open. Oh, this guy missed the block. Oh, now we did block and the guy's open, and oh, damn, the quarterback didn't see it, right? It was always that. They picked the worst time to play their worst football. So here's another play. They're figuring out how they're being played, right? The last play, the guy was open, right? So they're on the sidelines coming out in the second half with the right plays called. They're going to call the right play again here. We're going to see Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy on the top of the screen. Down here, we got Kelsey, and I believe it was Watson. It's 2 tight ends, whatever. It's basically clear everybody out so Xavier Worthy can run through the middle of the defense on basically like a deep post route. A little different than the post route we just saw. This one's like a middle post right down the middle of the field, right? So now, here we go. It looks like it's quarters coverage again, Ahmed, right?
Yep.
Here we go. Set hut. Let's see the next picture, Pete, when you get a chance. You're going to see Xavier Worthy is right above the L on the NFL, right? It's quarters, like I told you. And they got Kelsey running an out route down here at the bottom of the screen to take the corner out. The other tight end is going to run a deeper out route to take that safety out of the way. And now there's going to be nobody over there, and Xavier Worthy's running over the top over there. Now, he's not there yet. And because Xavier Worthy's small, I showed you this on video a few seconds ago, he gets bumped, and he gets bumped a lot, okay? But look at where this is about to be. This is about to be him with nobody. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's the only one paying attention from him, and he's 7 yards away from him, and he's not as fast as Xavier Worthy. But look at the pocket already. Mahomes is already on the ground. Mahomes is on the ground. Xavier Worthy has run 14 yards down the field. Right? This is the fastest player in football. Do you know how long it takes him to run 14 yards down the field? Like 1-point-something seconds. And Mahomes is not under pressure. He's on the ground already. It's on the ground. It's not like, oh, people are around him and he can't do it. He is already laying on the ground. And that's, to me, this is why I wanted to show these plays. I think just showed so much of the overall theme of the game in general.
So it was just complete domination. Good game plan.
Yeah.
It was all they needed to do.
That's
it wasn't
all
the
they
smartest
needed to do.
I mean, I guess it was a smart game plan because you didn't overthink it.
I have criticized them for being like that, right?
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, I actually said, like, one game, I was like, I give them credit because I thought they should have been more aggressive, but here they are in the fourth quarter doing what they do, and the other team can't move the freaking football, and they're winning by, the other team's got 14 points, so it's hard to argue about it. I thought this would be the team that would finally be like, oh, crap, we can't do it. They're finally going to bend us out of what we want to do. But kudos to Vic Fangio for recognizing the matchups, recognizing his team was better, recognizing where the Chiefs wanted to attack. I think all of that. And I would think they had a plan B, right? If it started like, oh, man, Mahomes is 12 for 14 and he's tearing us up, I think they would have gone, wait, we got a whole different approach we're about to come out with now, right? But they didn't have to do that, and like you said, credit to him for sticking with it.
So let me go. The homies have some questions for you,
Cool.
and so I think you'll be able to answer these after looking at the film. This one comes from Half Post Modern.
Yeah.
That says, what did the Chiefs coordinators expect from the Eagles defense that they kept setting up 5-step drops for Mahomes? The quick pass worked against Buffalo and seemed to work early in the Super Bowl. Why were there so many deep routes?
Yeah, I think that the quick routes were hard to come by, like we're talking about.
Exactly.
He threw a quick route early in the game. Kelsey dropped it. He had another 3rd and 3 where he threw it real quick, and he tried to get it in the zone real quick, and he made a bad throw. Let alone, like I was telling you, and that's what quarters is, it's kind of attacking down those lanes. So, like, sometimes, as a quarterback or even watching TV, you're going, wait, that guy was open right there. But as a quarterback, you're going, yeah, he was open, but, man, the window was really tight, and there's a guy bearing down. And it was one of those where you feel like if I throw it, it's going to hit him in the chest, and someone's going to hit him right as he hits him in the chest, and the ball's going to pop in the air. So you don't feel comfortable comfortable about making some of those throws. Let alone, I think that there wasn't that many short throws open because of the quarter's defense. And I would think Kansas City did not realize how talented the Eagles were. Like we talked about on Monday, a little bit like the, that NBA defense where you may like, hey, we think we can do this, we can do that. And then you get out in the field and you're like, holy crap, like they're fast, they're big. Like, yeah, there was a window there, but it was there like that, and it was gone. Like, I had to be perfect or it was gone, right? And I think that's a little bit where maybe the Chiefs misevaluated. And, you know, at the end of the day, too, when the front four can do what they do, I mean, we didn't even talk about, really, the theme is just the ass whooping up front. I mean, the ass whooping. Joe Thuney got destroyed. Jawan Taylor got basically destroyed. And, yeah, they had to help out on Jalen Carter in the middle. So that was an issue. But they were totally outmatched on the edge, let alone couldn't even think about running the football either.
So let me ask you a couple questions on that. One from Nick Reevy that says, why did Mahomes stay in the pocket all game when it was obvious it was going to keep collapsing? Why didn't Reed have a plan B to get him out early and scrambling?
Well, you know, he did the sprint out on the interception. They did a sprint out one or two other times too. Okay? Mahomes, again, is one of the greatest we've ever seen it in the pocket and staying in the pocket and moving, or just getting out of danger and doing it that way. Let alone when teams play zone, he's been almost unstoppable. That's what I told you for the last month, right? He's been almost like, hey, he could see it so quick and boom, 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 and it's out. Like Joe Burrow, like Brady, like Montana. He had that ability. But so I think that's where they went into it. And I don't think they thought they were just going to get run over at the tackle position to the way they were. All right? And then nobody had run them over to this extent like this.
Cam Ventura 617 along those lines says, hindsight is 2020, but looking back on the game, would you have kicked Thuney inside? Easier said than done when he played so well at tackle leading up to the game. And who knows if Jesus Christ himself could have stopped that Philly front. But is it a fair second guess?
It'd have been tough on Jesus. I agree. It's a tough matchup, right? Jalen Carter's a little bigger than him. Jesus got some special power now. You don't know.
Probably at best a stalemate.
But we're having funny. We're having fun. But either way, like I don't. You know, the question, I totally get it. And I talked about this with Forio a lot last week in the lead up to the Super Bowl too, right? Maybe you leave Thuney in there so you do have a run game and that can actually, you know, function at a high level. And maybe you leave Thuney in there because you can go, wait, Thuney can block Jalen Carter man-to-man and be okay. And then we can help out more on the other guys. But watching the game back, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, there was going to be issues everywhere, no matter what. It doesn't matter. Oh, okay, you moved Thuney there. Okay, so now the guy that's going to play left tackle, who they obviously felt was less than Joe Thuney at left tackle, we're going to put him there. I mean, they had plenty of plays where you heard me talk about it on Monday too. It's 7 guys on 4. There was help for everybody, and it still didn't matter. 6 guys on 4, didn't matter. Sack, boom, bomb, like gone. Like there's nothing they can do. You know, chip in the end. Oh, we're gonna keep the guy and we'll chip him back. You chip this guy. Didn't matter. Boom, boom, bam. They were there. Like it just didn't matter. They were not ready for this. They did not meet the Eagles' physical intensity, and the Eagles, I just think, are. You see this every now and then. That team that is super talented, like we always talked about, that I don't really think they played their best football until they started to feel the pressure of we have to start playing our best football. And it all came to the perfect spot like it used to in the old days with the NFC teams, where all of a sudden it just would hit end of the year playoffs and you're like, damn, this team's getting fucking better. And then they get to the Super Bowl and the 49ers win 55-10, right? And you're like, damn, they played their best game in the Super Bowl. They peaked in the Super Bowl, and that's what it felt like for the Eagles.
Jay Reed wants to know something. Jay Reed 54, Birds fan here. Chris, you are one of the few calling a big Eagles win. Best analyst in the game.
I appreciate that.
Pound to
Thanks, buddy.
Birds front 4 clearly told by Vic to collapse pocket with violence all game, which rushed Mahomes and got rid of scramble lanes. Why didn't more teams do this to the Chiefs this year?
Yeah.
Obviously, not most teams have the guys they have.
That's really what it is, Jay. I mean, Jay, there's only a few teams in football that could pull it off, right? And to have the actual matchups across the board, have the corners on the outside where you can trust to be in those situations. The Eagles are a special team. I think it just goes back into our talk about their roster and how good they are. I think you saw, like, Houston in the divisional game they did a decent amount of 4-man rush, and the Chiefs had issues there, certainly. There's no doubt about that. But this is an Eagles team that, I mean, you heard me say it all year. This is the best D-line in football. It's not really close. They're the best when you talk about D tackles, D ends, and then depth. Right? When Milton Williams is coming off the bench and he's going to be like a $25 million a year D tackle and he's your backup, that's when you know you're kind of fucking good, right? And that's their special thing. It's a lot, again, like the Bucs had. The Bucs had that special front four back when they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl too. And it's just rare to have that type of, the Giants to beat Brady in Super Bowl 42. I mean, those type of fronts don't come around that often. And that's where I think as time goes by, and it might take another win for the Eagles for people to realize it's one of the greatest O-lines in the history of football, and it's definitely one of the best D-lines we've seen in recent history.
They're built for years to come.
They are.
It seems like right now.
Exactly
we should
right.
go back and look at some of the games where they didn't get the pressures and didn't get the sacks and be like, what happened there? Either,
Yeah.
everyone not playing or
Not playing. Other teams pose problems for
I don't
them
even know if that
they had
happened
to
this
worry
year. I'm
about.
just saying that off the top of my head.
I know. Right.
It'd be interesting to see there.
Yeah. Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Hey, just because the season's over, it doesn't mean we're over. We ain't going anywhere. The NFL never dies.
We're staying right here. Hit subscribe. We got every NFL move. We'll react to that. Plus, Chris has got 4,719 draft prospect profiles to do.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe. You know where to find us. Peace out, homies.